Welcome to the Elevating Leaders series, where we go beyond the headlines and straight to the people who are redefining insurtech and business transformation. We've caught up with the visionaries and the pioneers that are currently driving the industry forward, bringing you exclusive insights, strategies, and stories you won't hear anywhere else. If you're ready to go deeper, this is your front row seat to the future of insurance. I'm Miguel Edwards, and this is 5 Minutes.
I remember, as a CIO, I thought to myself, I really got to make sure that I've got one throat to choke, and I want this kind of all this thing. I just want to just sign one contract, whole thing, and it was funny. As I kind of continued on with my technical journey, I realized that what I really needed to be really good at is being a good integrator.
That's right.
A good integrator of best of breed. And I think that there's probably a mind shift that has to happen, and maybe it's changing of the guard that we're starting to see, kind of generationally. But it's this mind shift that says, no, I want to go out there and I want to buy the best experience layer, and I'm going to be responsible for wiring it up and making sure that it all works together. I'm still not coding anything from scratch. I won't do that.
That's right.
But where's this opportunity for me to be really my expertise be in bringing everything together? But for your product, though, one of the things that I also thought was kind of interesting is, what does connectivity look like? Because even that, right? I mean, I used to think, I was going to have like API developers working for me, but I think you guys are turning that around too.
Yeah, certainly. It's really interesting. And our chief product officer, just a little bit more about the company. He lives in the UK, and he was implementing a large core system. And it was the one throat to choke mentality, right? So he's out there and he's implementing it, and his responsibility was the agent and policyholder experience.
Right.
And every time he wanted to make a change, call an API and get some data from, another system, they sent him a statement of work for $100,000. He's like, there's a better way. So he got to thinking, he met, our founders, and he's like, I can do better. I can do better. I can make this where a business user can go in and say, this is not the flow that I want to be. I want this on this screen. I want this data to come from this place, and really truly operationalize that. And they've broken it down to really support both the technology folks as well as the business folks, which I love.
Yeah.
So I'm doing demos, and I'll show people how you can break down the workflows, and you can create an API call out to a system and bring that back in, regardless of what the system is, but also support that from a JSON perspective too, right? So that technologist feels at home in there as well. Maybe they can do it a little bit faster than somebody that's designing things.
Right.
But he's really done a good job of marrying up the two. But you're right. We're in a time that there's been more data created this year than there ever was in the history of mankind, right?
Got it.
And how do we use that?
Yep.
And you got to make it super simple. One example is I worked with a company one time, and it took us a long time to get a data integration done. And I met with this potential partner who provided like this amazing kind of chat experience, two-way texting, again, just part of that customer experience layer. So I was a little reticent. I was newer to ManageMy, and I said, okay, Mark's gonna look at the documentation, and Mark can, by the end of the week, can you let them know about how long it'll take the teams to get done with the integration? He's like, yeah, not a problem. Apparently, the meeting ended a little early, and Mark looked at the documentation, and 12 minutes later I got a text message. Sorry about your claim. I'm like, what? He literally integrated this technology in 12 minutes.
Wow.
With, previous company, it took almost 12 months. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how the process worked.
Yeah.
But using those newer technologies, I think, enables us to be way more agile and provide that agility to the businesses that really need it.
Love it. Josh, we are at a conference that's based all about innovation and moving the ball forward. What's on the roadmap for you over the next kind of, call it 12 to 18 months? What's in your crystal ball?
Yeah, in my crystal ball, I think, there's a huge focus on ecosystems, right? We talked about it a little bit earlier, right? Yep. We don't want to be all things to all people. We want to be really, really good at what we do.
Yep.
And then empower the businesses to do that.
Yep.
So we're looking at a lot of different partnerships across the chasm of technologists, but how do we take what we're doing and also empower other outcomes, right? So is there another vendor out there that really needs that experience layer that they can take, and we can work with them to provide the outcome that the insurance carrier is looking for? I think there's a little less focus on me now, and I'm seeing a lot more technology companies that are providing technology to insurance carriers be really focused on that ecosystem type of approach.
Yeah.
Had a real good mentor one time, and I helped kind of build a few businesses with him, and it was an approach where you could take little pieces of a core system and BPO services and SI relationships and provide to a carrier what they really needed without having to buy everything. So I think if there's one thing that I'm personally focused on is how do we continue to build that ecosystem? How do we create this experience hub, if you will, right? Across our platform so people can pick and choose, like, well, I want texting with this, and I want, this credit card processing because they have this amazing, digital experience that, really gets people paid fast. Like, what does that look like?
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.